Sources are revealing a move that could change everything for the Eagles, my friend. While the entire NFL speculates about the future of one of the most dominant wide receivers on the planet, Howie Roseman just made a quiet play that might keep this star in Philadelphia for at least one more season. We're talking about a player who has been a 3-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, whose future with the Eagles has become the main storyline of the entire 2026 offseason. And the detail that could flip the whole script? A friendship that goes back way before the NFL. I'm going to tell you everything about this surprising signing, what it means for A.J. Brown's future in Philadelphia, and why this Roseman move might be a lot smarter than it looks at first glance. But before that, if you follow the Eagles closely and want to stay on top of every offseason move, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel, because the next few months are going to be loaded with big news. And this story is just the beginning. Let's get into it. The Eagles' 2026 offseason has been one of the most active and unpredictable in recent memory. With the Super Bowl dust still settling, Howie Roseman is working behind the scenes at the NovaCare complex, trying to put together the puzzle for next season's roster. And right in the middle of all that uncertainty, the name dominating every conversation is A.J. Brown, the all-pro wide receiver sitting at the center of one of the biggest storylines in the league. The situation with A.J. Brown is complicated, and Eagles fans know it all too well. Throughout this offseason, trade rumors have been spreading, sources have been talking, and the fan base has been holding its breath. Is he staying? Is he getting traded? What is Howie going to do? And it is exactly in that context that the general manager's latest move takes on an enormous amount of weight. Last Tuesday, the Eagles officially signed wide receiver Elijah Moore to a 1-year contract. On the surface, it looks like a modest addition, a third wide receiver to replace Jahan Dotson, who left in free agency to join the Atlanta Falcons. But anyone who knows the backstory here understands this signing goes far beyond filling a spot on the depth chart. Elijah Moore and A.J. Brown are not simply teammates. They are, in Brown's own words, brothers. Their relationship goes back long before the NFL. The two first connected when Moore was on a recruiting visit to Ole Miss, and the person who received him who stayed by his side during that visit was A.J. Brown himself. They became roommates in college and built a friendship that has carried through the years, through different teams, through parallel careers in the league. And you might be wondering, what does that have to do with an A.J. Brown trade? The answer lies in mental health. Brown has been extremely open about the struggles he faced with depression and difficult periods throughout his life and career. And he himself has credited Elijah Moore as one of the people who helped him get through those times. In the same way, Moore points to Brown as a fundamental mentor in his development as a player and as a person. That bond is real. It runs deep, and Howie Roseman knows it very well. As Chat Sports NFL reporter Chase Sr. highlighted on his official X account, formerly Twitter, Roseman's decision to sign Moore cannot be read as a purely technical football move. By bringing to Philadelphia a player that A.J. Brown calls his brother, the Eagles are, in a sense, making it a whole lot harder for him to walk away. It is not a guarantee, of course. Nobody knows for certain whether Brown will stay or be traded, but it is a signal. And in the NFL, where everything is calculated, that kind of signal matters. Now, from a football and on-field standpoint, what does Elijah Moore bring to the Eagles? The 25-year-old arrives in Philadelphia as his 5th team in 5 years of professional career, a journey that reflects circumstances more than any lack of talent. He was selected by the New York Jets in the 2nd round of the 2021 draft, 34th overall. He spent time with the Cleveland Browns in 2023 and 2024, then moved on to the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos in 2025, and now arrives as an Eagle. Moore's career numbers tell the story of a player fully capable of producing as a high-level complementary receiver, averaging 51 receptions, 552 yards, and 2 touchdowns per 17 games, and accumulating career totals of 209 receptions for 2,274 yards and 9 touchdowns. He brings consistency when given the opportunity. At 5'10" and 178 pounds, Moore has the physical profile and agility to work out of the slot and create separation in short spaces. Exactly the type of receiver Philadelphia needed after losing Dotson. With Devonta Smith operating as a top receiver, regardless of how the Brown situation resolves, Moore fits perfectly as that third option. He is not arriving to be the star. He is arriving to be useful, reliable, the complementary piece that Jalen Hurts' offense needs when it is looking for additional weapons. But let's bring it back to the elephant in the room. What actually happens with A.J. Brown? The Eagles have time to think it through. Because of salary cap implications, any trade involving Brown would most likely not happen before June 1st at the earliest. That gives Howie Roseman weeks of runway to make this call. But the date that most people are watching most closely is the NFL draft at the end of April. And here is where the most interesting read on the whole situation comes in. If the Eagles use any of their picks in the first 3 rounds to select a wide receiver, that is going to be read as a clear signal that Philadelphia is preparing for a world without Brown. And if, in the most dramatic scenario, the Eagles use a first-round pick on a wide receiver, then, according to the analysis published by Heavy, that would be as close to an announcement as you can get, that the Brown trade is becoming a reality. On the other hand, if the draft passes without a wide receiver in the early rounds, then the needle starts to swing toward him staying. And Moore's signing, in that context, becomes one more piece of evidence that Roseman is building around Brown, not preparing to replace him. The truth is, there is still no definitive answer. This story does not confirm that Brown is staying. It does not confirm that he will be traded. What it does confirm is that Howie Roseman is, as always, playing chess while the rest of the league plays checkers. Every move has a purpose, every signing has a layer to it, and bringing Elijah Moore, AJ, Brown's best friend, the man he calls his brother, into the same locker room right in the middle of all this uncertainty is, at the very least, an extremely calculated play. Think about it this way. If you are a player weighing the pros and cons of staying on a team versus being traded, and out of nowhere that team brings your best friend in to play alongside you, does that not change the equation a little? Does it not shift the conversation? Maybe yes, maybe no. But Roseman clearly thought it was worth the bet. The next chapter of this story will be written over the coming weeks, between the April draft and the June deadline. And you can be sure that every move, every pick selected, every trade rumored, every contract signed, will be read as a clue about what is coming for A.J. Brown and the future of the Philadelphia Eagles offense. So stay locked in, my friend, because this offseason is nowhere near over. What do you think? Was signing Elijah Moore a move designed specifically to keep A.J. Brown in Philadelphia? Or was it purely a football decision to fill out the roster? Drop your take in the comments below. I would love to hear what the fan base thinks. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a single update on this story that is only just getting started. Fly, Eagles, fly.